We are back. The Right Balance on the Accent Radio Network. Due aboard in a few minutes. Keith Thompson, per usual. He's on with us every Wednesday to observe. Among the upcoming guests tomorrow, Rowan Scarborough from the Washington Examiner, Monica Crowley from MSNBC, and Frank Gaffney as well. On Friday, we've got some really good guests on Friday. I'm not going to reveal some of them right now because I need to confirm later today. I can confirm the fact we've got Dave Jeffers on the line right now, author of Understanding Evangelicals, A Guide to Jesus Land, and author of the brand new article online at the ezinewmediajournal.us. Watch the veterans. Dave, what's on your radar screen? What's your biggest blip, if you will, on this, the anniversary of Chappaquiddick?
Oh, right now to mobilize voters. You know, we're going to have a convention, the National Federation of Republican Assemblies, what we call the Republican wing of the Republican Party, is having a national convention in St. Louis the first weekend of August. If you're in that area, come visit me, get a signed copy of my book. I'm going to be one of the exhibitors there. But mobilizing voters, because one of my ministers sent me something from the Florida Family Research Council about, everything is in the courts. Everything that conservatives, traditionalists, evangelicals, Christians, whatever moniker you want to put on us, label, and I wear them all proudly, everything that we bemoan about the social ills in America happened not in the Congress and not with the presidency, but in the courts. And we have got a chance to set the Supreme Court in the next couple of years for the next 20 years. And it's going to either stay where it's at, swing more to the left, or swing harder to the right. And so if there's no other reason to plug your nose, and we don't have to plug our nose, if we'll get involved now, get involved in the primaries, show up, get our strong conservative candidate on that ballot so we can proudly go like we did 20 years ago and vote for Ronald Reagan. I'm not a big fan of King of the Hill, but I remember one thing Hank Hill said standing out in front of the fence with all of his buddies drinking beer. They were talking about Ronald Reagan, and he said something. He goes, "I miss voting for that man." And it's true. But we can have that again. We're not going to have another Ronald Reagan, but we can have a strong conservative that conservatives can get behind. And yes, we'll have our differences, but overall, this is what's up for grabs.
So you're basically saying, Dave, don't sit this one out. Don't bite your nose to spite your face.
No, you cannot sit it out. And we cannot sit it out now. We have to get involved. We have to get behind the PACs that are, the Vanguard.org that is out there working hard to get this stuff going. Join the NFRA, who will help, nominate and get behind strong conservative candidates, not just nationally, statewide and locally. Get out there, get part of the vote, know what's going on in your community. Just get involved, read the newspaper, stay on top of things, and become an active voting member. No longer can we sit on our hands. If we do, we're going to go back to the 70s. In the late 60s, when Goldwater got defeated, conservatives went home and just died, and literally stayed out of it until we got another Ronald Reagan. We cannot afford to do that again. The stakes are too high.
Oh, look, 2008 is going to be setting the table, if you will, for my grandkids, and I take that very, very seriously because I'm not going to be around 30 or 40 years from now, more than likely. And the fact is, if we don't understand that there are differences in the parties, and we can be as cynical as we want to be about that, but it's true, there are differences. Unfortunately, in terms of money-raising general philosophies, I call it the Coke and Pepsi theory, as you know, Dave, not a lot of difference, but still. When we look at the Republican Party, we had Congressman Gresham Barrett from South Carolina.
Right.
Duncan Hunter was on the show in an earlier hour. Mike Huckabee's been on many, many times. We've got some very good conservative Republicans to vote for. The so-called second tier of the Republican Party after Iowa is not going to be second tier. One of those gentlemen, maybe two, are going to become first tier. I hope it's Mike Huckabee. Glad if it's Duncan Hunter, Tom Tancredo. Huckabee's my favorite, as you well know, Dave. And I think a Huckabee-Thompson, Thompson-Huckabee, Huckabee-Hunter, some kind of combination wouldn't be too shabby, because the bottom line is this. The alternative on the other side, barring something unforeseen, looks like it's going to be either Obama or Hillary. Not a pleasant choice.
No. And I'm telling you, this is it. This is the defining moment. And more is at stake than what was at stake in 1980. I mean, the global war on terror had just grown, and you got to read Buzz's book, because in the appendix, he lays it out in a timeline that is just scary. And we're facing that now. I mean, this is 2007. We have been at this now for over almost 30 years. These folks will not go away. Read their history. They are so emboldened now by what the left has done and by how Americans are now getting squishy and sitting back and letting the Democrats put on a pajama party when they should be voting to get money to our troops.
Well, Dave, at this point, I don't know if you can hear the music cues. We're simply out of time. Let's go into northwest Pakistan and use our Air Force intelligently. Dave Jeffers, thank you very, very much.
Thanks, Greg.
His book being Understanding Evangelicals, A Guide to Jesus Land. Buzz's book,